I'm going to go ahead and make a first cooking video. Hopefully make this one official, and it's going to go on. I'm making my lunch and dinner, which is going to be these ribs for me and my wife. Pay attention to the video if you would like. I'm going to go ahead and show you my spice rub I'm going to make for myself from all my spices that are behind the camera. And we're going to throw these on the grill and cook them up. So stay tuned and we'll get some more stuff going. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start with our spice rub. I have a few ingredients here that I use for all of my spices. I use chili powder, granulated garlic, paprika, pure sea salt, black pepper, granulated, or ground, I'm sorry, and ground cumin, brown sugar, and white sugar to get a little bit more caramelization. Now, I don't really measure myself just because I do everything by eye, and for this one slab of ribs, we'll just kind of use an idea of what we're looking at. So, I'd say about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of granulated garlic to start. The chili powder, I'm going to go ahead and do about the same amount, maybe a little less because my wife doesn't like it as spicy as I do. Paprika, I use quite a bit of. I may end up using a full 2, maybe 3 tablespoons here. Let me see. That's 1. That's about 2.5 tablespoons. I do the paprika for color and a little bit of the flavor. Salt is usually about 2 tablespoons for a slab. And don't worry about that chunk, it'll break up when I get to mixing everything together. The black pepper, I'm going to use about a tablespoon of. Oh, this thing's brand new. It won't open. There we go. Woo! I don't like brand new things sometimes. So let's go ahead and there's a good tablespoon of the black pepper. And cumin, I use about a teaspoon or a little less. I don't want to try to sprinkle it just for the flavor. So there's about a teaspoon there. Now when it comes to the sugars, I'll use, I call handfuls, but it's probably about a 1/4 cup of each of the sugars. Now you don't have to do it with a sugar, especially if you have diabetes issues or you know, if you're just trying to cut sugar out entirely. I am for the most part, but when it comes to my barbecue, I have to cheat because I can't stand the flavor myself without it. So there we go. And a little bit more of the white sugar here. There we go. So once I get everything in the bowl, of course my fingers are sticky now, I will mix everything together until it incorporates very well with a fork. And so let's get this mixing around here. And then of course once it's all incorporated nice and evenly, I will then spread it on the ribs. And on the ribs, I will usually let it sit for 2 to 4 hours in the fridge before I'll take them out and throw them on the grill. And on the grill, of course, I'm talking about my smoker I have out back. I will show you a picture of that poor overused machine. All right. So the brown sugar likes to chunk up a little bit, as I'm sure you're aware, but it's okay because it just helps caramelize a little bit thicker in different areas. So there we go. That's nice and incorporated. Always give it a little pinch taste. Yeah, tastes pretty good. I'm ready for that. I think that's going to work. Now, on the ribs, whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. I have been told you're supposed to cut something off the back, being this membrane, but I've never had a knife sharp enough to do it. So instead of cutting it off, just to make it easier for when I'm done, I'll take the shortcut and I just cut through it in between each of the ribs so that it's easier to tear apart, of course, once they're done and you're ready to eat them. Some people like to boil their ribs before putting them on the grill. I don't. I just don't like the texture it gives. I just prefer them the good old-fashioned cut and cook way. Alright, and I'm going to leave this extra fat on the back just because a little extra meat never hurt nobody. Alright, flip this back over because I want the majority of the spices on the front. And rub it in there nice and even. And I'm sure you hear my dogs in the background there walking around the floor. His claws and things ticking and tapping like a tap dancer. Okay. Got the front nice and coated. Let that soak a little bit so it sticks and doesn't lose as much once we flip her. Just pat it nice down in there. And there we go. Now to the back side. Of course, where the meat is, I'm going to put it thicker than where there's no meat. So let me go ahead and get that started first. And yeah, be generous with the rub because you want that flavor to get down in there. You want it to caramelize and look good. So as you see, not as much left for the non-meat part, but that's okay. Like I said, you want the flavor to go where the flavor belongs. Get that down in them cracks there. All right. So that's looking tasty, mighty yummy. Go ahead and flip that over. I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause on the video here. Wrap this up. We're gonna throw this in the fridge, let it sit for a couple hours. And while it's doing that, I will get the grill cleaned up and ready, and we'll be back to show you it on the grill. All right. All right, getting ready to fire up the grill. I'm gonna let my wife do it because she wants to play with fire. She's somewhat of a pyro occasionally. I always use this lump coal because it tastes better, burns longer and hotter, and doesn't have any of the additives that charcoal briquettes do. All the glues and things that they gotta put together to make those things sticky. So what we're gonna do is get that fire good and hot, and we're gonna get my grills over top of it, get them hot and sterilized, scrub them clean. I'm gonna wipe them down with a little bit of olive oil, and then I'll throw the ribs on when the fire's ready. It'll be about 45 minutes to an hour when I can get the temperature regulated there on the grill. I'm going to keep it at about 275 degrees, and I'm going to put them on here for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. That should be enough to, finally get them cooking. Okay, so after 2 hours in the fridge, the ribs will get looking nice and red, good and meaty. I cut them in half just for the sake of cooking them on the grill, make it a little bit easier to fit. So I'm going to have her lay the first rack here, the second rack here. The fire is on this side over here, so we're going to do indirect heat for the smoke. Go ahead and slap that in there. There you go. Membrane side down, remember that. Always put the meat up top. Good slab. There we go. All right, so I'm going to let these cook for about an hour at this particular stage. Right now I've got the temperature. It's right around 225 to 250 degrees. And it's going to smoke those up real nice. And then after an hour, I'm going to throw a couple more pieces of coal on there and flip them around so the other side gets charred. All right, guys. So the meat's been on here about 3 hours now. I've gone ahead and rotated them once. As you can see, the meat's coming apart there, kind of separating that fat. That's exactly what we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and take these off the grill here in about 30 more minutes. Wrap them in tin foil and let them sit for an hour on the counter to cool. I made some mashed potato or baked potatoes on the grill as well. So I just wanted to show you where we're at so far. And next time I'll be in the kitchen, I'll have these wrapped up, and you'll see me as I'm unwrapping them, getting ready to plate them. Awesome. Alright guys, it's been about an hour now since I got these off the grill. Yeah, fantastic. They look wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I cut them up. Basically, I just leave all the meat to the left. To the right. I go to the far right in between the bones, and I'll cut them down individually so that they're in one rib at a time. And look at that, guys. Look at that. And I'm not gonna lie, I cheated. I did take one, and I did eat one. So I know they are fantastic. So yeah, let me show you another one here. Cut this one down. I don't have the sharpest knives in the world, so I apologize. I definitely need to invest in some of them. But I mean, they just, even with this dull knife, they come right apart. Juicy, meaty, and tasty. So awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and hit like at the bottom. If you're on the YouTube channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. But yeah, that's how I make my barbecue ribs, and I enjoy them. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a beautiful day.